Hi, I'm Robert Dutt with ChannelBuzz.ca. I'm here with Brian Aebig from Avnet Canada. Brian, thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to see you. I want to talk a little bit about solutions, and it's one of those topics that we hear all the time. It's we always preach it in the press towards the channel, the need to focus on solutions, and certainly we hear it from various vendors and their executive teams. But it's one of those terms that can mean many different things to many different people. And you guys certainly have a vested interest in the subject for the last couple of years. You guys have been pretty active in rebranding yourself away from value-added distribution and towards solution distribution.
Correct.
I guess to open it up, what do you see as the difference between those two, and sort of what does solutions mean in Avnet's context?
Sure. Solutions is for sure a word that means different things to different people. So let me maybe put my frame on it, and that is certainly in the context with a conversation with a solution provider, I would suggest that a solution is highly resilient to commoditization. In so saying that, from an IT perspective, a solution in our eyes would be something that is entangled with hardware, software, services, and intellectual property, mine, yours, the suppliers, and individual components of that, when treated discretely, are subject to accelerated commoditization. When embedded together, they are resilient to commoditization. And so if you take that one step further, if that's how we define solution, then Avnet and its solution path methodology is really designed to identify the markets that are most ripe for a solution of that nature to apply.
Okay, you touch on solutions path. That's certainly been a big part of the game for you guys in the solutions distribution world. How do you choose the markets that you're going after, both the technological facing solutions paths as well as the vertical or market facing solutions paths?
The understanding the market opportunity in front of you is step one. So we spend an awful lot of time, awful lot of money in the envision portion of our solution path methodology, and in so doing, we look at market opportunities that exist either in terms of high spend industry verticals or high growth technology practices. And in either case, we have to do a lot of research to determine, in fact, what is the channel play inside of that. Is it conducive to a solution, as per our earlier definition, playing out the way that the manufacturers would like to have them played out and the way that an end user wants to receive them? So when we do that kind of research and determine which of the markets are most appropriate, most applicable, that's when we are able to invest and see and realize a very defined difference from value distribution to solution distribution.
That research is something I think that a lot of solution providers also have to do, and it can be daunting, especially when you're looking at verticals, but even within the technology spheres, picking the page you want to go to in that choose your own adventure book, as it were. Mm-hmm. What's your advice to VARs on how to focus in on either vertically or horizontally opportunities that make sense for them to build solution practices around?
You know what, you hit on a topic, the choose your own adventure, right? The Alice in Wonderland, for those with kids and have spent any time reading endless books to them, there's a quote in Alice in Wonderland that if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And that is somewhat applicable to the IT world as well, right? If you don't know what the opportunities out there are, then keep doing what you're doing and be subject to aggressive commoditization and have to be on that hamster wheel of selling more, doing more at increasingly less margins. You quickly get upside down. So in terms of answering your question specifically, which vertical practices make the most sense, that all depends on where you're starting. So the Avnet solution path is multi-step process. It's a journey, and at each step of that journey, there's investment required, investment of time, of commitment, of people and resources. And the best way to think about that is once you determine the market opportunities before you, and you have the commitment, planning and commitment to attack that, then you have to determine where you fit inside of that market opportunity. Avnet has a solution path advisor service that is designed to do just that, right? So where do you fit inside of this broader market opportunity? What's the scope, the scale? What would it mean if we could provide education and awareness and enablement services around attacking the broader market? And in so doing, how can we realize or accelerate the ROI from our joint investments?
So that's sort of the roadmap aspect of it, the ability to look out and plan which of those paths.
Absolutely. In some cases, often it's going to be a situation where from where you're starting, we can determine that a industry segment, an industry vertical makes an awful lot of sense, and we can agree on where we have to train, educate, grow, provide deeper skills, and then market it differently to get to that realized return. In other cases, it might just be that we look at an augmentation or a complement of existing data center skills to increase your relevance or enrich your value proposition to your install base.
I realize this is one of those things where there's going to be a range of different answers, but what are sort of the biggest one or two things that you see VARs turning to Avnet and turning to Solutions Path in general, or in specific, to address, to make happen?
I guess that there's no easy answer. There's no vanilla answer, but I'll provide some trending. More often than not, a solution provider has an invested skill set in something, and moving the ball and expanding that skill set is one question versus stopping investment and reinvesting elsewhere around attacking a different market becomes a much different conversation. And often that's a move out of a comfort zone. So the number one area that I feel I get approached on is how can I penetrate net new markets? How can we lower that barrier to entry to take advantage of the market opportunity that we see in front of us? And that, again, is where Solution Path plays. Our investments are designed to allow a solution provider to penetrate a new market, get net new accounts to work and opportunities to work inside of those accounts, and be recognized both at an end user level as well as a supplier level as having met the needs of the day.
Great. One of the things I think we all love about this industry, and that many of us find frustrating about this industry at the same time, is the pace of change, the fact that things never stay still for very long. How quickly are you guys able to respond with these solutions paths and with the solutions distribution approach to changing trends within the marketplace?
You know what? That is a little bit market dependent, and I'm not sure if the question was specific to Canada, but I'll address it both ways. We started off with technology practices first and foremost that were to dovetail over top of industry practices. Mm-hmm. So while we had a government and a healthcare practice, those were overlaid by virtualization, storage, security, etc. I anticipate that new technology practices will fall off and come on as the industry evolves. From a industry segment perspective, however, I think that there's a little more stability, a little more runway in terms of how long we have to work an environment, to work an opportunity, a campaign. You enter this arrangement around solutions path within a industry segment, industry vertical. You should do so fully expecting it's a 3, 5, 7-year plan, not a moment in time marketing campaign that you will then move on to something else later, right? So the industry segments for sure have a much longer runway, and technology growth dictates at which point do you become a Me Too and which point is it on the up slide of that curve versus the Me Too downside of that curve. So those ones will come and go, but the industry segments will likely have a much longer horizon.
Sure. Virtualization, for example, might be focused or defocused or any given technology area, but at the end of the day, healthcare is still going to be
precisely
an issue. So sort of choose your space based on that, and then almost drop in the technologies as need be.
Exactly, Rob. And in fact, I would go one step further. There are aspects of virtualization that are already commoditized. There are already more of a Me Too fulfillment world. And if that's the only way you look at virtualization, then you're probably missing out on big components of that virtualization opportunity inside the data center. be it storage, be it the data center itself, or be it even VDI desktop. Right? If you're only doing virtualization at a Intel server level, you're probably part of a much bigger community of people who are competing for that same opportunity. But once you expand your lens to include the rest of the virtualization opportunity and then apply it to an industry segment, that's where you see explosive growth.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Brian. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.